I'm going to begin. Hey, what's up? It's me, Gazbot. I'm here with another Gazbot's Toy Shots. That's right, Gazbot's Toy Shots. The show where I talk about my toy acquisitions and flim-flams and all those things. Now, here's the thing. The next couple episodes, you may have noticed, have been a little delayed. And aside from the normal life things, I had sound issues. So I'm giving you this little preamble to explain what's going on because I'd recorded the whole show, showed the toys. Since then, I've opened them, put them away, and kind of am done with this aspect of my collecting. Didn't really want to redo it, but I wanted to show you what I got. So I'm going to make this kind of a shortened episode using the footage I have. I'm going to talk over it and do my best to salvage the episode. So with that, let's get into Gazbot's Toy Shots. The Reckoning. The Reckoning? I don't know why, but here it is.
All right. Oh, that's right, all right. Gazbot. It's a Gaz shot, yeah. All right, so clearly the idea of trying to lip sync to myself is not going to work, but I'm giving you the little introduction and telling you who I am, as I did a minute ago live. All right, so I blathered on for a while about toy news that is no longer relevant at this point, so I cut most of that out, and what I'm doing here now is setting up for the first toy reveal, which, spoilers, will be a Star Wars toy. And one of the things I was discussing is the different lines of 6-inch or thereabout Star Wars figures that can be collected, including Hasbro the Black Series, Mafex, and this one, which is an SH Figure Arts. Now, this is Jedi Knight Luke. I don't know why there's some sort of dramatic... Just show show it to us. Show it to the camera. Gaz, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, I'm so annoying. Finally. Okay, here it is. This is the SH Figure Arts Luke Jedi outfit from Return of the Jedi. And as you can see, he has alternate head, and he comes with the Anakin Skywalker head that would go on the Darth Vader from SH Figure Arts. Now, SH Figure Arts is a Bandai company. Bandai puts out a lot of toys in America, most notably Power Rangers, but it puts out even more in Japan. So the Bandai of Japan is sort of the gold standard of a lot of toy lines. And while I am not collecting the Star Wars figures in that, I did get this Jedi Luke because Luke is my favorite character of all the Star Wars series, and I have the most figures of him, and I felt like I kind of had to give it a shot. It was quite expensive. If memory serves, it was $60. And SH Figure Arts, I have some Power Rangers figures from them. In Japan, they're Super Sentai, but to give you a comparison, they usually retail more like $30, which are also expensive, but this is double the price. I'm guessing it's because of the licensing fees to get, from Disney now, an American property like this, I don't know what else, but it does come with an alternate head and some alternate hands and a lightsaber like all SH Figure Arts do. The packaging is interesting that it's a window package, so you could see the figure inside, whereas previously it would be a photo of the figure on the front, usually, again with Sentai or Ultraman heroes or Kamen Rider guys like that, which is what this line is usually for. They're roughly in the same scale as those other figures that I just mentioned, but they're not really in the scale of the 6-inch figures, which are the Hasbro Black Series that you can get at like Target or Walmart or Kmart or Toys R Us that retail for about $20, and they're also not in scale with the Mafex figures, of which only 2 have been released, but more coming out, which are 6-inch, which are in scale with the Hasbro. And so what I talk about is, while I enjoy this figure and I spill parts everywhere, the Mafex and the Hasbro seem to be the way I'm going to go. They're a little bit smaller than the Disney Elite, a little bit bigger than these SH Figure Arts, which I think are technically 5.5 inches. Now here I'm showing the head sculpt. It's really difficult to see, but it is a really good sculpt of Mark Hamill, the actor who plays Luke Skywalker, especially in his Return of the Jedi mode. The hair does strangely have a gold to it, and I don't mean like a light blonde highlight. I mean it's literally gold, like as if someone took Tester's paint and dusted the top with some gold, which up close looks weird, but on the shelf it actually works because it picks up the highlights, and because he has, the actor and the character therefore has sort of a light brown hair with blonde highlights. In the first movie it's almost blonde. You can tell it got darker as he got older, but in the sun it picks up highlights. So while it does look odd close up, on the shelf it mimics his hair color pretty well. And again, the likeness is extremely well done, better than Hasbro, better than any other version I've ever seen, and therefore I had to have it. Although I probably won't collect the rest of this line, with the exception if they put out a couple more Lukes. But the Mafex, part of what I like about it is that they have a Kylo Ren, and the likeness of Adam Driver is excellent. So if they put out a Mark Hamill figure just as good, I will probably sell this one and get that. What's up next? What is this? Well, this is the saber from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, which is in Japan the Sentai series Gingaman, which Ginga means galaxy, so Lost Galaxies, so there you go. And the show in Japan, I think, was very space related, but in America, I think it was more like animals and stuff. I'd only seen 1 or 2 episodes. It did, whatever, it doesn't matter. I got this, and you can see it has light and sound. Those little clips ended up breaking off. I got it for $3 or $4 at, they called it a warehouse sale of this local shop, not by my house, but like an hour away in Niles. And they had a warehouse sale, which was basically like a yard sale for the store. There wasn't much there. I dug through it. I found this. I got it for $4. I think they wanted 10, but I was like, well, it's not working. How do I know it works? And they're like, okay, fine, 4. And I brought it home, and there was tons of corroded acid, and I mean like green caked on acid. And I cleaned it out, and I used some vinegar to kill the effectiveness of the acid and stuff. And then I'm supposedly cutting the things here, but obviously I'm not doing that. Did all that, cleaned it as best I can, and I got it to work. I had the electronics work, the sound, the light, everything. It's a lot of fun. But in the process of cleaning and banging it out, there are 2 little pegs in those gold hilt pieces that just snapped. They're from the late 90s, and they're ABS hard plastic, and I guess they just couldn't take the stress. So then I had to go back and crazy glue those. So I spent quite a bit of time on this. Probably would have been better off buying a new one. Well, not a new one, but a good condition one for $15 or $20. But instead I got one for $4 and put in like an hour or 2 of work. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It's 2 hours of work from beginning to end, but there was a lot of sitting waiting for the vinegar to take place and things like that, and for the glue to set. But anyway, it's in almost perfect condition now. I think it's missing a piece, but I don't care. I really like it. It's chromy, has light and sound. It's lovely. Here I am talking about how I clean it. I'm going to cut this part short because I'm just blathering on and move on to the next toy. So what's up next? Well, we have a vintage G.I. Joe figure. This isn't the original line. This is the second line, which is the line I associate with, the real American hero, as it were, from the 80s. And this is G.I. Joe when they were 3 3/4 inch. This is Lightfoot. He came late in the Generation 1 line, well, of this size, I should say. He wasn't the very last line, but he has these lenticular holographic stickers and bright colors. And remember, he's supposed to be American military or counterterrorism or however you want to put it. And he looks like a reporter or something like in the future. And he's some sort of bomb expert, which is ridiculous. He's kind of a terrible figure. Objectively, he's terrible. I love him. A big part of that is I like the kind of goofy novelty of the garish 80s-ness. But more specifically, I had him as a kid, and he, to my memory, was the last G.I. Joe I ever got new in the package before I stopped collecting as a kid, and then later started collecting as an adult or got him at yard sales or whatever. And I may not have even been collecting G.I. Joe at that time. I remember going with my dad to his girlfriend's house, who had a pool that we would go to fairly often, and he was like, hey, let's stop at the store. You could buy a toy to play with in the pool. And I'm sure he meant like a floaty or a water gun or something like that, but they had a small toy section. It's probably like a CVS or a drugstore where they have those tiny toy sections of toys that are older and cost more than they should. And there was this G.I. Joe guy. And even though I was kind of on the tail end of being into G.I. Joe, I think I always was a sucker for accessories. I was never a huge fan of the guy that was just like a soldier with a gun. I liked the guy that had like a mask and a helmet and a flamethrower and an axe, like as he was the firefighter or whatever. So this guy came with a helmet and a wire and a thing he holds and a little drone and whatever, and that really appealed to me. So I got him, and my dad argued with me a bit. He's like, that's not a pool toy. What are you doing? And to my credit, though, I brought this figure into the pool, played with him for hours. There was another kid there who was a little bit younger than me that I knew, and she was practically family. I may have ignored her for a while to play with this. That's how much I enjoyed myself. So, and it was one of those things where I vaguely forgot about it, because I've recollected most of my G.I. Joes I had as a kid, plus a few others I wanted. And I was at a store, and they had a big bin of them, and I was like, oh man, I remember this character. And they're like, yeah, good luck finding it. That's rare and expensive and whatever. And I'm like, oh. And I've learned from experience that a lot of times toy dealers don't know what they're talking about, because I looked on eBay, and I found this guy with his card back and his accessory. His joints were so tight. He's like practically new. With the card back, $10. That's not really expensive. That's not really rare. And I was very happy to have him, so I grabbed him. Here I am playing with him. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's move on to the next toy. That's Lightfoot. So that last store I was talking about was called Toy Trauma. Actually, I forgot to mention it. Here I am talking about the next store. Is called Zonky, and it's in downtown San Jose in the little Japantown area. It's fairly new. It mostly specializes in pop vinyls and designer toys. It has some Godzilla and things like that that are super high-end, but I found this. And this is, it wasn't even on the shelf. I was asking them if they had any Ultraman stuff, and I guess they have a contact in Japan that just buys stuff, and it was in a box of a bunch of other stuff. And this is, not Red. Red King is the original monster. This was DX Red King or EX Red King, where he's sort of molten, and he's from molten lava, that is, and he's from the new series. He was in the very original Ultraman from the '60s, but this new version is from Ultraman Ginga / Victory, which is from 2 or 3 years ago. And he is pretty solid. He's not that posable. He's more, I guess it's for younger kids because they can bash them around and they won't break, and for older adults because they look nice on the shelf. A lot of adults collect these and have exclusive vinyl collections of just Godzilla and Ultraman monsters. I only have a handful, and most of them are from this series. Excuse me. Because I've been watching it and I like it and blah 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 blah. Anyway, it was $10, which is, I don't think it was a steal, but it was a very fair price. In a shop like that, I would have expected to pay more, and that's more like retail what it goes for. And so I was pretty happy with it, and I put them on the shelf with my others of that series. The other thing I got though was a much better deal, and this is Ultraman, I believe Cosmos. It's from a series I haven't seen. He comes with a little teeny mini Baltan Sajin to go with him. This was $4. This was a great deal. I've seen him go for 10, 15, 20, 30, 50. I'm not even sure what he's worth. People ask all kinds of crazy prices on eBay. I know he's worth more than $4. He was sold as new. He may have been opened and put back in because it's the kind of clamshell you could reseal, but he's very posable. He's roughly the size of an SH figure art like the Luke I showed earlier. He has good articulation. He doesn't come with any accessories except for the little Army Man style alien I talked about a second ago, but his outfit is made of cloth. It's sort of got a rubberized silver detail, and it's all made of cloth, which I think is really cool and fun. And while he's not one of my favorite Ultra heroes, there's the little Army Man style alien he comes with. Well, he's not one of my favorite Ultra heroes, mainly because I've not seen the show. I like that he's blue and most of them are red, so it's a little bit of variation on the shelf. And he's roughly in scale with the other figures I have, while being very different. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that, for whatever reason, the Ultra heroes, unlike a lot of toy series that stay similar throughout the years, like a G.I. Joe or a Star Wars, from season to season sometimes it'll have a cloth outfit, it'll have a plastic outfit, it'll have sound effects, it'll have light effects, and they're all a little bit different, which makes it kind of fun, but they're still roughly in scale, which is what I like. So you can put them all on a shelf together, they look like they match, but each one, when you pick it up, you never know you're going to get. It's like, it's a nice variation that I enjoy. Anyway, that was a fun find, especially for $4. I would have paid more. I would have paid $10 probably without hesitating. More than that, I'd have to think about it, but $4, man, that was great. So let's put them away. Okay, final thing. What is it? Whoa! It is another Ranger key set, another legendary Ranger key set. It is a collection set. I've talked about these before. This was from Gokaiger, which in America was Super Mega Force Power Rangers. It ended in Japan, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at this point, and they keep coming out with key sets because there are crazy collectors like me that want them. I don't even own all the keys. There's plenty I'm missing, but these newer sets I'm able to get at retail, and they're still plenty expensive. I think this set was more than $100, put it that way. But if I wait, it just doubles, triples, quadruples in price, because they had come out with a couple of these sets previously before I started getting into collecting them as heavily. And again, they retailed for $100, $200, and now they go for like $600. So it's crazy. It's sort of, I look at it a little bit as an investment, but an investment that's like, I don't plan on selling them. But if I ever am hard up for cash, I can sell them because they don't seem to lose their value, and they many times seem to increase in value. And I don't collect for value. I don't want to make that impression. But when I make purchases like this, 2 things that I do to justify it. One is I try to sell some of my old junk to offset the price so that, I spend those hundreds of dollars, but I just sold $100 worth of stuff too. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And 2, I think of it as like insurance policy for if things go sideways in my life, I have a lot of stuff I could sell. But this was a set that consisted mostly of metal heroes. That's a character named Space Sheriff Gavan, and there's others in there, all following into the metal hero subgenre of Japanese tokusatsu, which is sci-fi, special effects series. And the metal heroes are either actual robots or men and women that have powered armor suits. And that was the focus of this set, and a lot of them had nice metallic paint, which I love, but it kind of bummed me out because some of the older keys from a year or 2 before had characters from Power Rangers / Super Sentai that should have nice metallic gold and silver, and they were just sort of an orange or a gray. So this set looks really nice. Now the reason I'm frowning is because these, unlike the last set, which actually called out the names of their teams, are just sort of saying, yo, ho, special Ranger key, and not giving me anything special. In a minute, I switched to my other Henshin device because I have 2 from the same series that came out differently, and the later one did have more sounds, it just gives you special ranger key for all of them. You don't get any special callouts. Some sets come with a little barrel that give you the sound, even though the original transformation engine device doesn't work. You could use the barrel to get the sound, but here you can see I pick up the other device. It does not work. Basically, you don't buy the set for the sound. You buy it for the shiny paint nices. So I go through and show all of them and go on a while, but it makes no sense now, and the sound didn't work anyway. But one thing I do show here is a Blue SWAT, which is, again, a Metal Hero set that I've never seen. I've never heard anybody talk of, but there he is. But I got a discount one of him, a chrome full figure, at a shop called Kimono My House near me, and I was excited there was a key in there, and it even had these little, antenna things.
So as you can see, I had to do the best with what I had. Unfortunately, like I said, the sound didn't work, but hopefully you got to at least see what was picked up and learned a little bit more about it, both with the kind of deals I got and the type of toys. And I'm gonna have another one of these where I'm gonna have to do my best, and then I have a few more in the works that I'm gonna be working on right after this, actually, which will be back to our regularly scheduled, with sound and everything, kind of videos. In the meantime, thanks a lot for watching me, Gazbot, and my Gazbots toy shots. That's right, Gazbot toy shots.
Pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop. Pop. Pop, 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 pop. Pop.